So, apparently somebody, I think Sony, is doing a Slender Man movie. And I am somebody who I consider to have, a fair understanding of the Slender Man mythos. And, I've seen a lot of the more popular Slender series as they were, and I'm a pretty big fan of that. So I think it's relevant to say that I don't think that this Slender Man movie is going to be a good idea. I mean, it's very, very high production, which immediately is a problem. And that's one of the main reasons I couldn't really get behind a lot of what Marble Hornets ended up doing. It was because it was high production, and the Slender Man isn't really good at that. I mean, Marble Hornets got popular, so they sort of fell off at the end, and then they were being sold in box sets, which is one of the most tragic betrayals of the whole series that actually even happened. That was so much worse than anything that they did or could have done in the actual narrative. It was all it just destroyed the illusion. Now, other series like Everyman Hybrid or Tribe 12, they do this a lot more. They do it a lot better because they hide to a large degree their internet presence. The guy behind Tribe 12 doesn't do that so much anymore. He used to do it a lot, but Tribe 12 has stagnated anyway. Everyman Hybrid, I think I found like one of the guy's real life Facebook profiles before, but apart from that, they are impressively well hidden, which is, I think, necessary to create a good Slender series, because the idea with Slender Man is that he's a very good horror tool, and what I mean by that is that he ticks a lot of the boxes. He's obviously got the some sort of unsettling physical appearance. He's a bit like a human, but a bit off, which is sent him into the uncanny valley sort of thing going on. But more importantly, I think that the Slender Man represents this strange sort of tangible aspect to this utterly intangible force, which is scary, isn't it? Because, I mean, a lot of horror is based on, not knowing what's going to happen or not understanding what's going to happen. And I think the Slender Man does that really well, just by being the Slender Man. You don't know what he's going to do. You don't really know what his motives are. Are they malicious? Is he looking for something? Is he experimenting? Does he even realize what he's doing? There's all these sorts of questions, and they're very sort of they're not very really explained in the better series. I'm going to take Everyman Hybrid as an example because it's what I believe to be the best Slender series out there, and by far my favourite. And the thing is that they don't really give the viewer any answers, and I get that they strayed a bit off the Slender Man stuff after a while. They got into like Habit and to a lesser degree the Rake, who was also a kind of cool thing. But the point is that they didn't really explain much about the Slender Man. There's sort of implications from Habit, who is a much more vocal sort of companion, I guess you could say, to the Slender Man, or a subordinate to the Slender Man at least. And that's interesting because even the Slender Man is still the scary guy. Habit is the vocal mouthpiece who says some stuff but not too much, because he's like overtly malicious, and but it's interesting. I can't really remember what point I was just making there, but I'm not sure if I have made the point I wanted to make. The point is that the Slender Man is really he's good at being a sort of like a tangible aspect to an untangible force, as I was saying a minute ago, and not knowing whether or not he could really exist is sort of kind of the fun, because by definition, humans and you and me have no idea whether he exists, because he could technically exist by his own character and by his own law. the idea is that he's so, intangible, and we have no idea. He doesn't contradict anything necessarily, because his existence is based on, just juggernauting and charging through everything that we know about the physical realm and about what's around us, which is encouraged by, alien sightings. Maybe that's a bit far-fetched, but stuff that things that are attributed to aliens, like the recent tapes that came out, they seem to juggernaut through, all our laws of physics as we understand them. And that's, often very frightening to humans and to people who see it. And that's basically what Slender Man does. And for the creators of a series to have any pretense that this is a production is always kind of, it's always a bit. It always feels like they're taking the magic out of it. It's because obviously you get that the Slender Man's not real, but there's a subconscious part of your mind that realizes that these are people who you can't find in any other context. For movies, you can see actors, and you can see the actors in interviews or in other films, and you sort of understand that you're a person, and you're doing some acting, and there's some clever directing, and that's really nice. But with the Slender Man stuff, like Everyman Hybrid, it's different. It's more. It starts out as like a fitness channel, isn't it? They go and they find that they are being, pursued by a Slender Man. It all starts. The idea is that it's just these sort of normal people, and they're just, being targeted, by the Slender Man, and nobody knows what's going on. They don't know what's going on. The audience don't know what's going on. Nobody really knows what's going on, and it's all got that very interestingly uncertain feel to it, which is so much of horror is based on. Another one that does that really well is Anderson 00. I couldn't remember the name, so I waited until I could, and now I remember the name. Anderson 00 is very good. You cannot find his real identity online at all. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, and I don't even think it's... the acting is not that great. The acting's... It's pretty dire, which kind of undermines the whole, the rest of it. But it's interesting, and it's well done, and they're clearly committed, even if they're not especially skilled, which is something I can respect and something I can watch and think, yeah, you're doing a good thing there. I feel, respect, I think is a good term. By contrast, Tribe 12, the acting's pretty good, not amazing. The special effects are pretty good, and he has, as of late, sort of undermined Noah Maxwell, the guy who is Tribe 12, has sort of undermined a lot of what he's done. So recently, after his most recent... I just looked it up, on 10th of November of last year, 2017, he posted a SpongeBob GIF, which is not necessarily in character, and also apparently whoever, one of the characters in the Tribe 12 series, has been communicating to him on Twitter via emojis, which again takes you out of it a bit strange. But up for a while, and up until Slender Man was properly out of fashion, Tribe 12 was pretty good. And Everyman Hybrid again stagnated, but early Tribe 12 was probably my favourite YouTube web series of all time, and they've done the most interesting things with it. I'm still subscribed to them after, what was their last upload, like a year ago, and I subscribed to them back when the 7 Trials of Habit was a thing, which was very long ago. But yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if I communicated any useful point in this, but if I did, that's good. And otherwise, watch Everyman Hybrid. It's pretty cool. It's got some analytical stuff. It's got a lot of analytical stuff in it. There's like a screenplay that's mentioned offhandedly once, and all the characters sort of they have their own role in the screenplay, and they're actually they're acting it out and everything. And there's a weird what's the guy's name? Nightmind. He did a 6 or 7 part series on explaining Everyman Hybrid, and explaining what it means. And there's a lot of footage in there. There's like 6 90-minute long videos, but I think it's very, very worth it if you are interested, because it's a good series. I'm going to stop speaking now. Goodbye.